everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you days 29 and 30, and then also going back to day 24, which was Yupo, of our AJOS ATC a Day 2022 challenge, which was to make an artist trading card every day in June. I missed, I think, like the 23 and the 24 because I was sick, and so today, during the live stream show on our other sister channel, Art Joy of Sharing, where we do a live stream, I did day 29 paint chip, day 30 scrapbook paper, and then I did day 24 Yupo paper. So that's what's on this video. This is the speed up version, sped up 4 times fast, so that you can see the process in a short amount of time. So starting out with the paint chip, I picked up some of the free paint sample chip things that you get somewhere that sells indoor-outdoor paint for your walls. And I cut it down to 2.5 by 3.5. I decided to use the green one today, and it's so I cut it down. And then I grabbed my tabletop die cutting machine and some little thinlit dies. Okay, I did that after this. I put some archival ink around the edge just to make that little card seem more finished. I like to frame things with color. So I grabbed some thinlit dies, and I used the other part, the leftover part of the paint chip, to cut a few I guess you would call them sprigs of plants, leafy branches, something, whatever you want to call it, out of this other piece. I had to make it more narrow so that it would fit into this tiny die cutting machine. This one is, I think, from Spell Binders. I think it's called Prism. I'll put a link below the video to this little desktop die cutting machine. It's nice to have one that's this small and you can just grab it, leave it on your desk and cut a few things if you want to. It's not electric or anything. It's not fancy. It's a little, manual rolling one that you can use with your thinlit dies, your little thin metal dies. So I cut a couple things out of these leftover bits of the paint chip. I thought it was kind of fun because you get this ombre effect of darker to lighter on the paint chip. I mean, the whole point of it is that it's giving you multiple options of basically the same color tone, only just lighter and darker. And then you can pick a wall color, or you could pick a couple wall colors that go together really easily and have them mixed for you. So that's the whole idea. So, and it's a heavy enough card that you can use it without mounting it on something else. Also, it's not so flimsy that it can't be used as an artist trading card. So it's a fun thing to do. If you grab a couple of them and make something out of them. I wouldn't say you go clean the store out of paint chips, but if you just grab a couple, that's what they're there for. Okay, they're there for picking colors for your walls, but you know what I mean. So then this morning I was exposed to the CNN broadcast. I try to avoid CNN and various news channels when I can, because the state of everything on there, for one thing, it's really repetitive, which annoys me, and for another thing, it's always bad news. There's no good news on CNN or any news, really. I mean, there's rarely anything that's happy, so I try to avoid it. But I did see a brief bit of it this morning when I went downstairs to do some caretaking. The Supreme Court here in the United States is being silly again, and they're overturning stuff that was passed in the past, and now they're saying it's no longer constitutionally legal. And one of them was talking about Environmental Protection Agency, whose job it is on the national government level to decide how to protect the environment. And it had been said that they could tell factories to reduce their emissions because we're having a global warming problem. And the Supreme Court decided that they were going to overturn that rule that the Environmental Protection agency, meaning the federal government, could make that rule, basically. And so I was just kind of annoyed. We have so many animals that are endangered because of this global warming, as well as our continuous problems with drought. Um, here on the west coast of the United States, the west part of the United States, we've had a big long drought and also a lot of fires. And I just think that somebody needs to take that in hand and try to immediately reduce the emissions in the United States so that we can stop global warming. So this card is about that. I have a little Galapagos tortoise or tortoise, depending on how you say it, endangered animal, and I used a picture of a hand, and I was thinking about how we as humans have the whole world in our hand. We have to choose to use the power that we have to control what's going on. Sorry, I've got serious allergies. I keep sneezing, so sorry about that. But anyway, this was kind of what it was about. I'm just trying to explain where the card came from. So they're magazine collage pictures. Then I did also add those little die cuts cut out from the rest of the card and some shading and lines, mark making, trying to, give the idea of plants and grass where the tortoise would live. And then I have a new pack of stickers, of funny stickers. They're from Dilutions, and there's 3 different sets in one pack off of Amazon. You could buy them all together. And they're kind of funny and snarky, but the one I picked is Now or Never. I think that's what it says. Let me just make sure. Yeah, now or never basically is when we need to think about the environment, think about protecting it, and what we can do to reduce emissions and to, you know, stop dumping stuff into the water and all that stuff. So that's what this card is about. Oh, man, I've got such sniffles. Driving me crazy. All right. So some splatters, the little sticker. Also, there's these little tiny eyes on a sticker in that sticker packet. I thought it was hilarious to put the little eyes on the tortoise. I thought it was funny anyway. So, yeah, that's day 29 made with the surface of a paint chip. Day 30 was scrapbook paper, and I had this really dramatic scrapbook paper with these Harlequin diamonds on it. I really love the paper, and I thought it would be fun to start with that as my background. And then maybe I figured since that background is so dramatic, the black and white, that I would need to collage over it. And so I have a little basket with papers on my desk that are just things that I've been using parts of it and it's leftover parts, or it's something I picked up off the floor when I was cleaning up, something like that. And I decided to just create a design. And I think that black and white and red go really well together. I just like it adds a lot of drama to put those 3 together. So I decided to create a little ladybug or ladybird, depending on what you call them where you live, by using this piece of gel printed red cardstock. And then underneath for the body, I used this black and white striped paper that's from a magazine. And then I grabbed a scrap of just plain black paper to make the little head of the ladybug. And then I've got these tissues, some tissue that has some writing on it, an edge of a piece of underpaper that has like a scrape or a mark of some acrylic paint on it. And it adds a little bit of a neutral in there because it's tan colored or craft colored. And I just kind of put those all down. It gives sort of a break up of that diamond shaped background. And then I put this little ladybug on there, kind of at the intersection of those pieces. And now I've got that bit of red. And I put all that down with some matte gel medium. Then I grabbed my basket of blingy things. There's stick-on gems and pearls in there. I was looking for the black ones. I could only find a little bit of the black ones left. And then I found this piece that's kind of got some sewed on together pieces with silver and black. So I made my dots out of some of the black stick-on gems and then that other bits of stuff. And then I grabbed my container of wiggly eyes and gave the ladybug some wiggly eyes because I think they're cute. It's just cute to put those funny eyes on something like this. Glued everything down, and then I'm going to do some finishing with black and white Posca acrylic paint pens in the fine tip, not the extra fine, but the fine, not the medium, but the fine. There's different ones, and the fine tip is the one that I prefer for most of the stuff I do. So I'm adding marks. I'm drawing in some little legs because, you know, they have the little legs so they can walk around, and some antenna. I'm actually not sure if ladybugs have antenna, but bugs in general, cute bugs, look better with antenna. I've never actually picked one up and looked at it so closely as to see if it has antenna or not, but they probably do. They're so tiny, they're hard to see. And then I put some red archival ink around the edge using a little mini archival ink pad to add a little bit more red. And I also grabbed a red Posca pen, which is acrylic paint pen, and splattered some red on there. I just wanted to get some red in other areas besides just the ladybug. And then once that was dry, I looked for a sticker from the same sticker packs, the new ones I have. And I cannot remember what one I picked. Here we go. Live Life in Color was what I picked to put on there. Put some marks around it. And pretty much called this one done. Day 30, last one. Should be the last one, right? The very last one. I'm ready to do something larger than ATCs. 30 ATCs and nothing else in a month is makes you tired and ready to do something else. So then I remembered that I missed two of them. I missed receipt paper and Yupo paper because I was ill. And I was supposed to be at the live stream, and I wasn't that day. So I decided to go back because we still had time on this live stream and do the Yupo one. I already had a piece of Yupo paper cut to the right size, and Yupo paper is a plasticized stuff. It seems like plastic. It's wiggly. It's non-porous, meaning it doesn't absorb. And you can watercolor on it. You can paint on it. But of course, fun thing to do on it is to do alcohol ink. So I grabbed some Marabou alcohol inks in different colors, and I wanted to try putting on the alcohol ink and kind of squishing two pieces together. Usually for this, I would use like a piece of plastic, but I had this piece of vellum paper, which is also non-porous, doesn't really absorb anything much. And I decided to try the method with that. The reason I wanted to do this squishing method of, squishing the two pieces together is because when you drip alcohol ink, it generally creates circles. You guys have all seen that, the circles, the drops. And I wanted it to not be circles. I wanted it to just be some color on there in different colors. And then I wanted to show that you can remove the ink from Yupo, from this non-porous plasticky surface. You can use 91% alcohol and a earbud, something you clean your ears with, Q-tip, whatever you want to call it. And you can dip it in the alcohol and remove the ink with it and make marks. And it was working great on the Yupo paper, and I thought, well, I wonder if it would work on that vellum piece. So I ended up doing it on the, making some interesting marks on the vellum as well. This is just another way to create some type of collage paper, or, maybe it's a background for your card or whatever. Just another fun technique of using the alcohol to remove the ink. And I think that piece now, you could leave it like that. It looks kind of like batik, like when you use wax and dye on fabric to make kind of a, a pattern, a resisted pattern. So here I am using it on the vellum. Vellum is kind of translucent. It's a little bit see-through. So it worked on that to make some marks as well. Then I wanted to show how you could recolor or add a different color by using alcohol ink as a watercolor. So you can use a watercolor palette, drip in your inks, whatever colors you want, leave it to dry, and even if it's dry, you can still pick it up with a brush and alcohol. So this is again the 91% alcohol or mineral spirits. Some people call it that if you live in another country. It's called rubbing alcohol in the United States. You get it at the pharmacy, and there's 70% and 91%. The 91% works better. So I was using a little brush, just a little paintbrush, and I can get the paintbrush wet like you would with a watercolor and then dip it in the dry alcohol ink and then use it to add color to your Yupo project. So there's really a lot you can do with alcohol ink. It does look different than other mediums, even though you're doing some of the same type of techniques as you would with maybe a watercolor or something. It looks different the way it settles onto the Yupo paper or any coated paper. Like you could also do this with like leftover photo printer paper, glossy cardstock, something that's coated and non-porous is what you need to do with alcohol ink. You can also do this on glass. Looks different because glass is see-through. You could do it on something, just any non-porous ceramic, whatever. You can make tile coasters with alcohol ink. There's lots of options, and I have lots of videos about different alcohol ink techniques. So does Peg Robinson. We run this group together. We run that live stream together. So there's lots of stuff out there to learn about alcohol ink, but these were just techniques I wanted to show today. So then I used a white Posca pen for marks, and I used some glitter glue to put sparkles on there. And that one was day 24. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this challenge. Lots of people have been participating. Use the AJOS ATC a day 2022 hashtag and search for all the different ATCs that were made in the month of June. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.